Dreaming of early retirement and financial independence, here's the truth. Automating your finances is your ticket to making your dreams into a reality, or at least getting there a little bit closer. Without automation, you'll be trapped in a cycle of chaos, manual work, stressing over bills, late fees, and lost opportunities potentially. With automation, and you'll gain the magic of getting your time back and having peace of mind at the same time. Automation brings stability, and a great way to harness the magic of automation is to create your own automated personal finance system. Today we'll be talking about creating a simple system, and then in a future video, the next video, we're gonna dive a little bit more into how to make a more complex system. And before we unravel the magic, let's take a quick refresher. We're on an epic quest towards DeFi. This is our guide to digital financial independence, retire early. So if you missed out on any of those adventures in past videos, don't worry, we got you covered. Just click on the playlist above and catch up on those previous videos. We've been teaching these concepts through exploring our fantasy financial world called Digitalitaria and going on this epic adventure. And where we left off was with our wise mentor, Budget Baggins, who takes us through the next step of the training where we explore the depths of the mesmerizing crystal caverns of automation. So now we're jumping headfirst into the realm of financial automation by putting your savings, your bill payments, your investments on autopilot so that you can streamline your path to financial independence and early retirement. At a high level, there's three basic actions that we're gonna be automating: automated savings, automated payments, and automated investments. So our journey is going to begin with setting up a foundational system. And for this system, you're going to need about 4 accounts: a checking account, savings account, a credit card, and an investment or 401k. The investment or 401k is optional because your employer might not offer it to you, or you're still paying off debt. In this case, if you have high interest debt, you can forego the investment account because you'll be losing more money in interest rather than gaining it in the potential gain of your investment. But that's also your call and your decision of what you would want to do with that. Okay, we're gonna jumpstart your journey by setting up a direct deposit of your salary and your paycheck into your checking account. If you haven't done this already, just talk to HR, talk to your boss, your supervisor, anybody, they'll be able to help you get this set up. Once that's done, you want to automate your contributions to your 401k or your investment account. I'm saying 401k because usually this is going to be post-tax dollars, and then it automatically comes from your salary. So you're just going to go into your 401k, you're going to set up your auto contribution so that you can contribute to it without needing to put in the thought. Oftentimes, employers won't have this automatically set for you, so you need to go in and set this. It's important to be able to set this because you want to contribute enough to get your employer match. Basically, this is how much your employer is going to offer, up to, let's say, 6%, 4.5%, and then they're going to match it. So if you put in $100, they're going to match it $100 up to whatever percent of your salary. So it's essentially free money that you're leaving on the table, and that exponentially grows your retirement and get you closer to your FIRE goals. If you don't do this, you are losing money. So just do it so that you at least get your employer match. But remember, if you're dealing with high interest debt, it might be wise to channel your extra funds into tackling that first. Next, it's time to pay yourself first. So what this essentially means is setting up automatic transfers from your checking account into your savings account. So here, if you remember the 50-30-20 or the FTT rule, which is basically budgeting 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for savings and investing, we're gonna automate that 20% now so that it's consistently getting taken out of your checking account. So then you have your checking account. Now you're gonna have that automated, you're gonna set up automation that puts it into your savings. I like to keep this as a separate savings account from my checking because I want to put in the barriers and make it harder for me to be tempted to spend that money, so that it takes a few days to access those funds, because these are your long-term savings goals, so we shouldn't be touching these funds anyways. This helps you automatically save for your long-term goals, but helps prevent you from being tempted to spend it on other things that you really want. Magic cards, league skins, or whatever your vice is. Ideally, you're gonna want your savings account to have the ability to create either sub-accounts or be able to create multiple accounts within your primary account. This way, it makes it easier to manage and track your savings goal and to be able to have your checkings account go into each individual account for each goal that you have. Here's a quick look at some of the options that you have available. Ally Bank has a feature called Ally Bank Buckets, where you can set up to 10 separate savings buckets within a single savings account. And it's a 5-star on NerdWallet. Capital One 360, it allows you to create multiple savings accounts inside your main account, and that is rated at about 4.5. And Discover Bank has similar ability as well, rated at a 5-star rating. So these have high ratings. I know people who use them. I personally use some of these as well. So go and check those out. You can't go wrong with either one. Just see which one fits your needs. So potential sub accounts would be allocating a certain percent to creating an emergency fund that's worth around 3 to 6 months of your living expenses just in case. Other common savings goals are saving for a house down payment, planning for a wedding, or an account for investments, and then also just anything related to fire that you just want to take and save aggressively for that. Next, we're gonna move on to demystifying credit cards. So for credit cards, it gets a bad rap. If used wisely, they can be powerful tools to build your credit score and earn rewards. If not used wisely, which I ran into this, they can destroy you and they can obliterate your credit history and make it hard to borrow and to crawl out of that hole. It's a double-edged sword, so be very careful with credit cards. So credit cards are not bad if you can keep within your budget, and if you pay your balance off at the end of the month, you won't be charged with interest and you can have your money work for you at the same time. And what I mean by this is that you can have rewards credit cards that are earning cash back on the purchases and expenses you're already gonna spend, or gain travel rewards or other perks. So you get to spend and charge on your credit card, you pay it off at the end of the month, and then you still get to make money back and you didn't accumulate any interest. But if you have high interest credit card debt already, again, focus paying that off. I'm gonna be a broken record and I keep mentioning that, but it's really important that you be able to pay that off because it is a mental and it is also a financial burden on you. And once you free that up, you'll have so much more income to invest and get you towards your FIRE and your early retirement goals faster. If you struggle with overspending like I did in the very beginning, you're gonna wanna use your checking account and just use your debit card for a majority of your purchases. So you wanna try to contact your credit card and not have an overdraft fee so that it just denies your debit card if you ever go over. I would recommend still keeping a credit card and just charging a few low-cost items to your credit card a month just to build up your credit, because having a high credit score is important to saving money on bigger purchases like buying a house or a car, since you qualify for lower interest rates. If you don't struggle with overspending, find a card with a great rewards program that you have a high chance for approval. NerdWallet has a great section for finding potential credit cards and the chances of your approval based on your credit score and your needs. Link in the description below, check that out. All bills that can get paid with a credit card, I set up and I set it up with auto pay. Any bills that can't get paid, say like rent, where it has to be kept a check your bank. You might be able to have an automatic payment system where they actually will send a check out or have some type of feature. I set up an automatic payment system that goes from my checking account. So explore the website, talk to a teller in person to see what your options are. You might be pleasantly surprised of what physical options they can give you. So here we're automating all bill payments, especially your credit card bills, to avoid any potential late fees and penalties, because any missed payments can cause your credits to spiral out of control, because credit card companies have the right to penalize you and increase your interest rate. So here's an example. Say you have a credit card balance of $10,000 with an interest rate or APR of 10%. Your monthly interest that you're accumulating and that you have to pay is around $83.33. Now, say you missed a credit card payment and received a penalty. You pay a fee and potentially receive a penalty APR, which increases your interest rate that ranges around 29.99%, which is pretty crazy. Now the interest paid would now be around $243.93, which is just the interest, which makes it significantly harder to pay off. And then you can see compounding going in the wrong direction. If you make minimum payment, you still won't be anywhere to paying off your credit card. So to prevent this from happening, you're gonna go into your credit card and set up auto pay and have it pay at least the minimum so that you don't miss a payment. You can automate the full payment of your credit card to pay from your checking. For me, I only set the minimum because I like going in at the end of the month or when my credit card statement is due, and I go and I review my expenses and my budgets to see what I can improve on. This review takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, which also includes recategorizing expenses in Mint or directly inside my savings or credit card to get an accurate picture of what I'm spending. And then after that, I pay the bill. I also set up a quick review in the middle of the month around the 15th as a check to let me know if I'm on track or if I'm overspending so that I can adjust. Even if you have no balance or any high interest debt, it's still a good idea to set up this automated payment to your credit cards to create a safety net, so just in case something in life happens. Here is a glimpse of what my simple automated finance system looked like when I first started. Here's my automation in the very beginning of my personal finance system after I paid off my credit card debt. So starting with my salary, I had 10% go into my 401k. I needed 6% to get my employer match, but I wanted to save extra for retirement. Next, the remaining post-tax dollars went into my checking account, where 50% covered my needs and 15% covered guilt-free. And if you notice, only 0% is inside my credit card. I only charged small amounts because I was still reeling from credit card debt and paying that off. I didn't want to get caught up in debt again, and I didn't trust myself enough at that time. So what I did was just charge enough to keep my credit score and to start rebuilding it from where I was, and then have everything come out of my checking account until I felt better about my finances and was more confident in building those habits. After that, 15% would go into my student loans. So this is over the minimum. So 15% of my income over the minimum, because my needs, I consider the minimum payments on my student loans as my needs. And then anything extra, any extra cash, I put towards my student loans, and it was about 15% at that time. And then I reduced my guilt-free and made it lower to only 15% at this time because I wanted to pay off my loans as fast as possible. And then 5% was going into savings because I wanted to save and have a little bit of a buffer for an emergency fund. So here's the overall breakdown. 30% was going through my savings investments, 50% was going to my needs, and then 15% was going into my wants. As you're getting started, you just want to start off simple and then start to improve and optimize as you go. But don't forget, this is merely the starting point. In the next video, we're going to explore a more advanced system that I've developed to fast track my journey to DeFi. And this is what I like to call auto fire. It's the more complex system. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out on the next video and content. And as always, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you in the next video.